Atlanta, Georgia. I'm gonna see if I can charge that so it can, because it normally is supposed to. Let me see if I can just put it further. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, it's better.
There we go.
Okay, now you see both of us.
Where you live at?
There
TikTok.
we go. All right, we live and in action. What's going on? We just wanted to come together today on this beautiful um snow day and talk about being better and not being bitter. We wrote a book. If you can't tell, we have the wonderful Ariska Scott on live with us, Yo Selfish Coach. And we all three of us came together to write a book called Don't Be Bitter, Be Better.
Be better.
It's a co-parenting book talking about, just being a better co-parent, being better people. And so I just wanted to come on live. I wanted to talk to my two of my co-authors, my beautiful, wonderful co-authors, and just have you introduce yourselves. Ariska, you wrote the foreword for the book, so go ahead and introduce yourself. Don't be bitter, be better. You can find this, and we'd love to come talk to any groups about our experience. And Ronika Ward here, the Pretty Girls Empire herself. So go ahead and introduce yourself real quick, and let's get rolling.
Hey, beautiful souls. It's your girl, Coach Ariska. Coach Risk, your selfish coach. I'm the owner, founder, CEO of A Bountiful Solution, a personal development organization for women where I help women get selfish. When I say selfish, I mean surrender, elevate, lead, flourish in life and business by overcoming self-sabotaging behaviors that disrupt their life and their businesses. That's who I am, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. So that's who's wrote the foreword for this book. And Ronika Ward, go ahead and introduce yourself. Let them know what the business is.
Okay, I am Ronika Ward, the owner of Pretty Girls Wax Parlor. Pretty Girls Wax Parlor is not only a waxing space, we are a wellness center for women to come to feel seen, heard, and loved. We also specialize in womb wellness. It starts with your womb. So that's who we are, just to awaken everyone who come through those doors, just awaken that femininity, know who you are, because when you know who you are, you make positive, better life choices, and it affects your whole life. So Pretty Girls Wax Parlor, we've been in business for about 6 years. We located in Jonesboro, Georgia. I'm a 2 times author. This is my second book, Don't Be Bitter, Be Better. So I'm excited to just journey about. Yay! Thank you.
Check it out.
Yes. I'm just excited to journey about my experience as a single mom of 3 and how navigating co-parenting and how just being better and not bitter have been beneficial to me. So I'm happy to be here with you all. So
Ashe. So I just want to
Oh,
What?
okay.
we're live, but
Okay.
we're live. But I want to make sure I know y'all about to drop some gems. So I wanted to do it. My name is Preston Harris. I'm the master builder. And I'm so grateful because we came together. We're in the mastermind and we were on a call. And I don't know how we got on the topic of it.
Well, I remember.
It was me. It was probably me. It's probably me being bitter about something. It's probably me.
Marissa was helping you navigate through.
Yeah,
And then I came on the call and it was just it was
Yeah.
automatic. It was
Yeah.
automatic. It was very automatic.
Divine
Probably me.
It was
intervention.
divine intervention. Yes.
It was probably me. Yeah, being bitter. That was it. So I mean, like, there's a lot of different things when you're in that co-parenting relationship, and like I'm lucky that I have wonderful women like you to help me be better. But what are some of the things like, one of the things when I was reading the book, Ronika says parenting doesn't pause for pain. And I'm like, and I'm probably sure you. Oh, and then Ariska, you're saying like separate your feelings from your ex for your responsibilities for your children, and like I can think of like both of y'all hitting me with haymakers as just as a parent, just trying to navigate through some of those things. So like, can you kind of explain like as people are looking at, we got Valentine's Day coming up, we got a whole new year of how we can approach, parenting and love and stuff like that. What are some things that we can do to just be better? not bitter all the time.
Well, I will say, reading Ariska's part in her chapter, it was more so like I felt that today. Me and Preston was sitting here, just going through the book and stuff. But I felt that so deeply when it's like when the financial piece is not matching up because you're in your feelings, and people don't understand how much that plays an effect on a household because if you're not taking, if you're not taking that out on me, you're taking that out on your child. And most men feel like if they're not sleeping with you anymore, they don't want to contribute, to the household, like, oh, you're not giving me who you dealing with. It's like, well, I don't have to deal with anyone. Your daughter, is still here, or your children is still here. But for me, just going back into just it took me a while to get here. It didn't happen overnight. That's why I tell people, we in a better place now, but it started out as it was very chaotic, and it's very chaotic when you dealing in betrayal, deceit. It's very chaotic when you in hurt, pain. Because for me, when I talk about my chapter, I was, that was betrayal. I don't ever want to put that on nobody.
Yeah.
When I found out that betrayal, but you still have to be a parent. You still have to show up. You still have to be present regardless of whatever hurt you got going on. You still have to show up. And and thankfully, and you have a situation where as though some people take it out on their child because they look just like them, and the child sometimes just have their whole face, and you have to still show up in spite of, and put that to the side.
Yeah.
And I say that because I had a male friend of mine, his mom was so hurt from his dad that she took it out on him, and he felt all that hurt and pain and all that. And he took that as an adult.
Yeah.
And it shows up in his relationships, so we have to be mindful of how we co-parenting because it starts now.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I count when I parent, like I count the minutes before she say, "Can I go to mommy?" Because I got a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's like you got to do what that's your co-parent, and like in mine, it's more so as a man, like having the standard and like being the standard of love and of effort and of um setting the tone for feelings and emotions within the relationship. Like you don't gotta like me all the time, but at the same time, we're gonna have respect here.
Yes.
We're gonna
Yes.
have love here. You're gonna know even if whether I come through stupendously or if I don't come through stupendously, that you're here and you got somebody who's a partner,
Mhm.
in this. And so I think that was more so like what I was trying to um navigate, just because as a man, it's tough sometimes, but you doing the best you can and it's not enough.
Right.
And you just have to accept it sometimes. And like reading the Riska section, like, and then like having relationships with stepchildren and like, thinking about some of the kids, the children that I've come across
Mhm.
in my time.
Mhm.
So like there was a lot of different thoughts that this book brought up for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it bring up a lot of different emotions as well too, because sometimes when you think you dealt or healed with the situation,
Them
is
triggers.
some that triggers are still there. Those triggers are there.
Yeah.
Those triggers are still there.
Yes. That part with me talking about because it's my personal journey, talking about my oldest daughter and losing her dad, and then him coming in and being the only other father figure she had in her life. He's been in her life since she lost her dad. So it wasn't like you were new to this. Like you and then when it don't work out between us, you just come and you get the child that we share together and not the one that's not biologically yours. Like, but you're the
Mhm.
only father she has. Like that
Mhm.
was a slap in the face. That
Yeah.
was a slap in the face. Like, why would you do something like this to her? She's only a child and she's not going to understand this. And it's teaching
Mhm.
them that I'm not worthy. Because why he's choosing her and he's not choosing me too. Like
Mhm.
that's a hurting feeling.
Yeah.
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 And
And
no
as a
child should
parent, yeah.
experience that.
Yeah, I read. I was like, yeah, that's very hurtful, and if people don't understand, these little people, they become adults one day. And
Yep.
they take that, they take that with them, how they was treated, who's showing up for them. And they feel all of that chaos. That's one of the things that I can remember when my children were so, much younger. Children feel that energy, and it puts them in a space sometimes of choosing. I want to go to mom's, I want to go to dad's, and it's so chaotic, whereas though they just want to go where it's peace. They just
Hmm.
really want to go where it's peaceful at, and children feel that energy. So making sure that we doing our job as parents so they don't feel that, because they should feel love, cared for, and just safety, just being safe, but not just in the space of, you don't know somebody gonna come over here and bust the windows out, or call the cops. You don't know what's going to happen. Any little thing can trigger you off because you already upset, angry. You already need a reason. So you forgot the socks. You forgot that. Anything can just
Anything.
take you off the handle
Hmm.
and you blow off. And it don't even be that. It could be the stuff that you holding on, how they hurt you.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So just the tools that we dropped in this book, I'm sure can help a lot of people navigate through the journey of communication. And because that's really what it's all
That's what it
about.
is. That's what it boils
Communication,
down to, effective
communication and
communication.
respect,
Yep.
communication. And understanding and being mature adults to navigate, and also bringing, like you said, Ariska, the step parent, aspect, bringing other parties in, but making sure the other parties are aligned with where you two are, because another party can come in and they could be doing things completely different. Then now we trying to
Listen.
fluff and buff how we do things. So that's the issue too.
Listen.
Now we got to talk about
That
that,
right
because that's a
there,
real thing.
that was a big one. So he brought one into the relationship, I brought one into the relationship, and we
Mm-hmm.
had one together. So when we originally from New Orleans, we
Mm-hmm.
relocated here to Texas from New Orleans after Katrina, and he couldn't find a job because when he was working, he worked on the river back at home. So of course, there's no rivers to work on in Texas. We're not in Dallas anyway. So I'm reaching out to the mom and I'm like, hey, what does he need? Well, I don't want to talk to you. Well, you have no choice but to talk to me, because whatever you keep calling his daddy for, you're not going to get unless I get it, because he's not working right now. So let's just come together and let's get, be on one accord. To this day, I still have not had a decent relationship with this woman. And it don't make me no never mind. Like your child don't came and stayed with me, like physically lived with me when me and his dad was separated and everything else. So let me throw this disclaimer out there. I divorced him and I remarried him. So that's a story for another day. But he stayed with me and he didn't even stay with his dad. So I was that responsible parent, the only parent that he had at that time, even though his dad was there, came, but he lived with me physically. So I had him 24/7. And it's just he grown now. It's over it. But when they're growing up and they're kids, like I've been in this baby life since he was like 4. Like, come on, let's be better. Like, why we got to do this? And I'm not one for conflict. I don't do that, especially when it comes to kids, because kids need a strong foundation. I didn't have that foundation when I was growing up, for the most part. But having a strong foundation, and everybody dream of having a two-parent home. That's the goal. Having a two-parent home, a successful two-parent home, but that don't work all the time. So at least if we're not going to be together as one, let's just have some effective communication, some mutual respect, and let's do what we need to do for the kids, because it's not about us at this point.
But yeah.
Yeah, y'all say what needs to be said. And like when you say it, it don't like the thing is as a man, it's like, you're right. it don't always feel good. It don't always it requires a high level of self-reflection and accountability to say, all right, I'm not stepping up in this area. Let me be better. Or what do I need to do to be better in this area? Or give me some time, give me some space so I can be better in these areas because there's a lot of hurt that's there. And like that's I think the thing that we that gets glossed over is because it's not one, sometimes it is one party that's hurt, and sometimes both people are hurt.
Yeah.
And you're trying to make decisions in a new environment where there's hurt and there's all these different things going on. And I like what y'all said about the baseline of being respect and creating that peace for the children. Because, you know, one thing that I will say about the mothers of my children, there's always been, I don't think it's, even though it has impacted, the distance has impacted my child, the relationships haven't, you know, the environment hasn't been so toxic that it's impacted my children anymore.
And that's
Yeah.
a blessing.
And we've worked, and it didn't start that way.
Yeah,
You know,
it don't start that way. Yeah, it takes time.
We've taken a lot of work
Mhm.
to get
there,
that
yes.
way. And like I'm just grateful that they're patient and that they're willing to do the work,
Mhm.
you know, because it takes a lot from, like, as mothers, like the expectations are somewhat different for y'all.
Mhm.
But as a father, it's like the effort is a intentional thing.
Mhm.
So listen, I saw this meme the other day, and it is really funny because when fathers step up, they get glorified. But when we do what we do, we just mothers.
Mhm.
And it struck a chord. I'm like, he's being a parent at the end of the day. Why we can't all get the same recognition? It's called being a father. He's doing what he's supposed to do as a father. Why are we glorifying a man for doing what he's supposed to do as a father? Like it should not be no differentiate. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. I'm not about to mess it up. Like he's still being a father. So I have a question on Instagram. She said, my question is, what should I do when the co-parent was consistent for a little while and now he's in and out like a yo-yo?
I can speak on that. I would say because when a new relationship takes place, that's when sometimes the inconsistency takes place as well. I noticed that, and because it could be, a smooth situation, then somebody else new into the relationship. Now they probably have to, pursue them. You trying to date when, hey, you still trying to, get everything aligned in order with us, and that's another thing too. Most people don't be healed and ready, and they ready to just move on to the next situation when you still got all this baggage here where you haven't cleared up. And now you got this new person entering into a relationship and y'all both trying to navigate a situation that he don't even have a hold on. But to answer your question is that I find it the inconsistency come from new parties, or they probably feel like you're dealing or dating with someone. But I would definitely bring that up in a conversation, and just really set some boundaries down when it comes to the inconsistency. Like, hey, this is not going to work for me. We're gonna have to come up with some type of plan in place so we don't have to, be in this space because it's not working for me. And I think that's, it comes with the conversation, first. But normally when the inconsistency comes from, is normally for me, I've noticed is another party involved.
I would say, um, ask if there's anything different. It's, hey, I've noticed these things. Is something going on, or is there something that I'm missing that's causing issues here? If you can make all the speculation and everything, but if you ask, you might just tell you, hey, something else is going on there. So I got something going on at work, or this something's happening. But I would ask first, and then just make sure your needs are known. What I'm saying is like most men are not unless there's a bunch of drama there, you know, if you say like, hey, this is what I need, and I'm just trying to make it communicate to you what I need, and I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying this is a pattern that I'm seeing.
But I would say my issue is when, okay, the inconsistency is already there, and then you still trying to date someone, you trying to pursue someone new, but it's like you can't even afford to, do the bare
Take care of
minimum
your
over
child.
here. You take care of your child, but then you actively pursue it. It costs money to date. And some women will take care of you, but majority of the time it costs money to date and pursue. So yeah, I remember an incident with me. I had ran into one of his friends, and she was like, "Oh yeah, because he spent about $300-400 at the bar," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, so you do got it." You do got it. You just don't have it for me because you in your feelings because you're bitter. So you do have it. So people, they'll treat you as how they want to treat you as long as you allow them to. So yeah, you have it.
I'll
Said
say this. Go ahead, Eriska.
She said it wasn't smooth for years. Then from 2022 to part of 2025, it was better. And now he's very inconsistent again. She said, yes, everything has fallen on me in every aspect, and it's not fair.
Yeah, it's not fair. It's not fair.
And there's
No,
times where
because it takes two to make a child. So
Yeah,
it requires two to raise a child.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you can't do that. The child
And we,
does
we
not
can't be
deserve that.
so and we can't be so understanding because it's like, okay, oh, well, this happened and that. You're like, we can take on the sob story all day long, but we can't tell our landlord, Georgia Power, Gas South, we can't Clayton County Board of Thought, we can't tell these people, hey, hey, it's something going on right now. We still have to come up with the funds because that's what we do. So it's like we can't take those excuses with us to pay nothing. So it's like, okay, so what about your resources? Can you use your resources to help and get the funds that we need for our child? Or I'm supposed to always figure out the resources each and every time we need it?
Yeah.
Come on now, let's talk about it.
Come
Let's
on,
Let's
come
talk
on,
talk.
about
We
Preston.
it.
What you
don't.
got? What you got? This is real.
They be playing like,
Yeah, this
people
is.
be playing in your face. They really do.
Yeah, I remember
I,
piggybacking off of Ranika. I remember when we were separated and we purchased our first home together, and I had a water bill that was due, and I called him to help with the water bill, and he was like, "Oh, I ain't got it." But then I find out you dealing with this chick, and you got her cable bill in your name. Like, wait, what?
What we do?
What's
Right,
really
exactly.
going on?
Yes.
Like, y'all be doing the most.
Yeah, and not only that, hold up, not only that, let's talk about they playing step parents to the other part Hardy's
Ooh.
kids. When you over here playing daddy daycare with those kids because she taking care of you, and you dropping the ball with your own kids because that happened a lot too. A lot of guys want to play, they want to play daddy daycare over here, but baby, what about your kids?
well, this is the thing. It's like a lot of guys.
What about your kids?
A lot of guys miss that family. The hardest thing as a man, what I'll say is going from coming home to somebody loving you and your children to nothing. Like it's a real feeling. And so when they're in that transition period, it's like, sometimes that gives them that family element. I feel important here. I feel like I plug in and I fit here. And like, I can't say that I've never, I probably had that conversation yesterday, about those things. And it's never, I'm trying to be there more because it's you feel for your kids. You want your kids, but you also understand like, some situations just, you have to do what's best for your life and what you feel at the time. And so for me, I've always just tried to be transparent and consistent. I've done the other women where we got in a whole battle, the next woman, and we fighting against each other and we at war, and that don't work very well. So what I like to do is I just like to try to be as transparent as possible and just say, I have two children, so with two different mothers. So obviously I'm not a pro at staying together, but I didn't figure out some things that at managing the situation to where you understand that like you're important to me, you know, even though I understand you got to figure this out right now, I'm still here. If there's something I can do, you got me, you know. But and sometimes it's not fair for a time. I'll, but working as a man to be able to those years that were unfair to make up for it, that's all you can do. So that's all I got to say. Y'all ain't wrong. But and I think that's the beautiful thing about the book is like it gives you both perspectives. Like I got y'all can there's things that y'all are fiery about. And sometimes you gotta flow and just evaporate and be ice and just say, like, hey, I see you giving the best and I appreciate you for the stuff that you're doing. And I think that's one of the things that has taught me on my journey is the gratitude and the appreciation for your partner, even when you're upset, has been the difference maker because we got stuff to be upset about.
And I'm glad we have a male perspective, So I think that's most important too, that it's not just women talking about this. And I think that's the beauty about this project. We have, a real life father, not, just a real life father who's active in their children's lives. So it's like we get, your version of how that looks like too. Is because we always hear about our version, but what about the guys? What about y'all? Because y'all hurt, y'all go through things, y'all go through betrayal, y'all go through pain just as much as we do, but it's like with men, it's like y'all don't have the space to be vulnerable or the space to, it's kind of like y'all not seen in that space,
It's not, you don't want emotional man moments all the time. And like we don't want to be spilling our emotions and feelings. And when you see a man spilling our emotions and feelings, that's usually when something's going wrong.
Yeah.
Like I'm like in my experience, I've visited, the police have been called on me by my children's mother. And so and when I got locked up, a lot of the guys who were in there for domestics. Because stuff dealing with their children, stuff dealing with those things. And so it's like, for me, it's like that's super dangerous, You never want to put in it. I should never put her in a position where she feels like she needs to call the police. And you should never want that to happen. It was there was another party involved who had a lot to say and happened to be a police officer, so they wanted to exert some force. And so, dealing with that, like, and then having the parent after that. Like, I'm mad and you took my son.
Yeah.
And I gotta still parent with you after that. And you gonna act like nothing's happened.
Yeah,
that's why I say, like,
as women, we could be really, really low down, dirty. We could be really, really bitter bees. We really can be, and it don't make the situation no better. So when the relationship don't work out, we need to be better at it as well. I think we get more in our feelings, because we don't jump. See, for men, it's like when a relationship is over, y'all jump right into something else. It's easy for y'all. For us, we got to go through the motions. We got to go through all the stages of grief before we get ourselves back together. We got to come to terms that you with somebody else for the umpteenth time, because you don't switch 3 women in the past 3 to 6 months. Like, we got to adapt to all of that as we looking at that. So yeah, we mad because we thinking it's about to work out over here, but you can't do that. We have to always, and at this day and age, you have to remember the child is the most important thing in the whole dynamics, in the whole situation. And how can we make it work for the child? Not thinking about ourselves. You cannot be selfish as a parent, point blank, period. It's not about you. It's not about your feelings. It's about how can we come together and raise this child effectively.
And some women be, I've met some women be so bitter, where as though they feel like if you don't want, you don't want them, you don't want the whole. It's like they look at it as a whole package. and everybody suffered, and every little boy, every little girl needs their father just as well as they need their mother. I'm a big advocate because I grew up without my father, so I know the importance of they need their father. Like every little lady needs their dad, every young man they needs their father. So it's important to just to get the proper knowledge because everybody, a lot of people is going through how can I navigate? How can I like where to start? And the first thing I would say for me on my journey, I would say the first thing I started with was prayer. My mom used to tell me just pray, like keep praying about it because it was so toxic and it was so turmoil. Whereas though I'm like, and I'm talking about I used to be so mad I felt steam was coming out my head. That's how mad I would be. Like this guy would make me that angry. But then my mom was like, you let him win every time. That's what he want to do. He
Controlling the
know he can.
narrative.
And then when somebody know they can push a button, they're going to keep on doing it.
Yep.
So it was like I let this person win over and over and over till I just said, you know what? I surrender. But the first thing I would say, start off and lead with prayer because prayer does changes things, and by the grace of God, we are in a peaceful space now. But looking back, I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I never thought we would be here. Where even though like we can all mix and mingle, their new spouse can come and enter my space and vice versa. Like I never thought we'd be in this space, but I would start off with a lot of prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said faith is fuel.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And like I would say you can start with prayer. I think that's a good start. What I would start with especially for men, and fathers who are going through this because you're in pain and you don't really know what to do, I would start with exercise. I would start working out or like something for your mind and for your body, just so that way you have a outlet for that energy.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you get mad and there's no, like, we can just
That's
be
true. Yeah.
angry
Yeah.
creatures.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if there's no outlet to get that anger out or get that energy out, then it just stays and then you take it out in the wrong areas.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
like,
Yeah.
that's one thing that I would always say, like, that's just because like there's fire.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get flamed on and like you don't know how hard I tried. Or it's just I just got off of my week taking her. How you gonna be mad at me right now? Like I just got her. But I can go hit the gym and get that energy out and it goes somewhere and it's
Yeah.
used productively.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I think the thing is like you gotta think long term.
Mm-hmm.
Like and that's the one thing is like I can't blow up the spot right now. As if I got a lifetime of raising
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
child with this person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what environment do I want to create? And is this decision going to be the best decision for us long term?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, is it going to help us? Is it going to help us and our child win? And like my children are young, and like I'm a very calm person until I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't get mad very often, but when I get mad, I get mad. And so
We need that
it's
outlet.
like,
Yeah, that exercise, that sounds great. And I would say on the piggyback off of that too, though, just to journal, I find a lot of my time writing about the situation as well, just really put my feelings out there because going back and forth with somebody, that's high blood pressure, that's stress on the body. And when you got stress on the body, you really can't function properly. So we really just really writing it out.
Yeah. And I would say to add to that, I would say find a mentor. A
Mm,
mentor
yes.
or get in a therapy. I know we don't like to hear the word therapist, but find a therapist. But if you're not into therapists, at least find a mentor, somebody
Mhm.
who has been a father figure or a father who has been in their kids' lives or separated and they have a effective co-parenting situation. Somebody that could help you navigate those stressful and moments that you have, those moments where you're ready to literally wring his or her neck. Like you could pick up the phone and say, "Hey, this is what happened," and they could calm you down, talk you off the ledge, and talk that sense into you. Because sometimes we need that voice of reason before we
yeah,
do something we really don't want to do. So
Mhm.
finding a mentor is a great way too.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
I would say that I say when I was at my lowest points, I had a coach, and that helped, challenge me to be better. And I think for men, it's just the challenge to be better. Always, it's like it's gonna always be there. And so, like, make more money, give me more time. It's always gonna be there. And so, just accepting the challenge and like owning up to the challenge and understanding like that's what you signed up for. Like I have a big purpose, so I can't be with my children all the time. Like, but making the time that I'm with them extremely valuable and then being the best support, and I haven't been like I'm not the best. I'm a work in progress.
We all are.
We all are.
Amen.
But,
Amen.
but at the same
Parenting is not easy.
and
Yes.
at the same time, we've still been able to navigate together and create a space where there's a lot of love and respect. And that's what it took in work. But and I think one of the biggest things, and I'll say it again, is gratitude. Like at the end of the day, that person gave you the best gift on the planet that just keeps on giving. And so like that is the only thing sometimes that has wrapped my head around the situations that I've been in, is that I have the most amazing gifts in my two children.
Yes.
And
yes.
so, I think that is just like it's like the beautiful best job. And like I think people, I don't know, I feel like people are scared to have children. Sometimes I feel like co-parenting is scary for a lot of people, so they don't even want to have children. But I would take this a million times over for the two that I have.
Well, I will say, hold on now, let's be
It's
clear.
not.
Let's
I'm
be
not saying
clear.
I would I would do it the same way. I'm not saying that.
Because
But I would take the two.
if I was to give any advice when it comes to that, like, and that goes back to who you allow into your womb space. We have to be very cautious and very careful because it's not just a good time right now, because this is someone that you procreate with and
Yeah.
would be for the rest of your life. So
Yeah.
just making sure that you move with intention
Yeah.
when you allowing someone into your space. Because it could go like, people don't get along and they don't have nothing in common, and they only thing they have in common is in the bedroom. And that's pretty much it. It's really good in the bedroom. Outside of the bedroom is sugar to shit. Like that's it. And we gotta, just being, I know way too many people that's like they don't even know this person, but they just know them of having a good time in that life. But now they have this responsibility, and then not only that, another responsibility comes because they having a good time, and now everybody in a toxic, chaotic situation because they don't even know each other. You don't even know what this person. You don't even know their last name or what they like. It gets deep because we dealing with reality here. Like this reality, some people don't know who they, intertwining with. They have no clue until it's too late. And they like, I wish I would never. I should have, would have never. I should have, would have, could have. Baby, it's too late.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
What you mean? I know exactly what you're talking about.
I ain't gonna give the green light, like, baby, I know. I'm like, please do your research. Says take it easy, pump the brakes, just hold on. Just wait a minute.
Don't try to test drive the
Don't-
car already.
yeah,
Get to know them a little bit. Just get to know
Yes.
something about them before you
Yes,
jump in. But
yes. So
it's funny that y'all mentioned that, because when I talk to my kids don't want kids.
Yeah.
They just don't. So I don't know what the phenomenon is behind that. I even had a coworker where she was like her fiance had at the age of 29 already had a vasectomy. So it's choices people are making because they don't want to end up in a co-parenting situation.
Yeah. And you never know, and you never know you're gonna end up in it until you end up in it, because my last situation, like I said, I was planning a wedding, I'm thinking I'm about to start my whole new life. I'm about to ride up into the sunset and boom. it was an explosion on my doorstep. Boom. You know, like you're not doing any of that. You know, you're not about to do any of that. So it's like you never know until you get in it. And then, you know, you can't never say, oh, I would never be in that situation because you never know. Somebody leave you high and dry. Just like how you feel like you got that person, baby, he will do the same thing to you, you know, and vice versa. So it's like, you know, you just never know where you may end up. You know, and a lot of my friends was telling me at that time when I left, when I decided to be a single parent, when I left my children's father, they was like, you know, they wouldn't have did it, you know, that my kids were so young. They was like 2 and 1. So, you know, that's a lot. You know, I'm being a single mom with 2 kids, and some of my friends was like, they would have stayed, you know, they just would have, because for one, that's what they was taught, that's what they know. They would have stayed and work it out up until they, you know, got out of high school, whatever. But my mom was like, baby girl, you trying to, no, that's not your reality. And you know, you want the white picket fence and live like the Huxtables, but that's not your reality. So I had to make a choice. She didn't say what's, you know, I just had to make a choice and be like, you know what, this is not healthy for me, because if I'm not healthy for me, I can't be healthy for my daughters. So I had to make a decision to be my best self so I could be my best self for them. And we've been it's been about 10 years now.
And that's good. That's
Yeah.
good, and that's good to know, because what big and that's a ancestral thing. That's a generational thing. Staying into something just to say you're in something to make it work for the kids. But them kids see y'all
Mhm.
arguing. Them kids see y'all fussing. They may see y'all fighting. Them kids seeing all of this negative stuff, and what is that putting in their heads and their minds? Oh, this is what a relationship looks like. This is what I'm supposed to
Mhm.
accept in a relationship. My grandmother told me a long
Mhm.
time ago, if you are not happy, don't stay for the kids, because that's going to trickle down to them. Get out. I rather see you happy and whole and living fully than to be miserable by staying into something that's not being beneficial.
I agree. And don't let the kids see you fighting, because that's what they grow up, and that's how they going to feel like they can express themselves, you know, by
Yep,
fighting and putting their hands on the other person, you know, because that's what
that
we
was
was
me.
taught. That's what we
Hmm.
seen. You know, I saw my mom and dad fight. So guess what? You make me angry. We fighting too. And then you got
Yep.
another generation coming up behind you doing the same thing. And it just is a cycle that just keep repeating itself, you know?
Yep.
I
So
think,
yeah.
you know, like, yeah, y'all see it one way, and like, it's like, for me, it's like, I, I haven't, I wish I would have done more to keep it together,
Mm.
Mhm.
and instead of just like allowing it to, like, because as a man, you really don't like know it's kind of falling apart until it's like, oh,
Apart. It's on.
oh, this is apart.
When the woman's made up.
Yeah. And like you, I mean, you can see bad signs, but like you like, and so like that's the thing, is like one of the things that I've I talk about in there is like emotional resilience.
Mhm.
It's like, you know, you can't, what I'm realizing is you can't be soft in this thing, and you can't hold on without forgiveness, especially if you want it to work.
Yes, that part. If you want it to
If
work.
you want it to work, you got to make the choice to forgive from the start.
Hmm.
And that whatever comes up, you just gonna forgive. And not, don't mean you forget or just allow crazy stuff to happen,
Hmm.
but like the little things that don't have to be big things. You have to make that choice. You can communicate, but forget. And I think like, you know, those are the things, like, because that in my relationships, I think it was unforgiveness that really drove me to becoming a co-parent. And then once we're in the co-parenting, those things that I didn't forgive are the reasons why we're fighting and we're escalating things higher than it had to be, because you still mad and I'm still mad about certain situations. And so that's what I like, especially for the men, like I just challenge you to like find them areas where you still mad and find the ways to get rid of it, and just try a little harder on the relationship while it's still good before it goes bad,
I
before
like
you
that.
get into that
Yeah.
parenting relationship. Because once you're there, you in like you in the twilight zone. And so, because you don't know what the next day is gonna hold, you trying to figure out when you're gonna see your kids, if you can
If you
see
can,
if you can see your kids. You also trying to figure out your life because you was close with this person and now you in a different space and a different place most likely, and you may be dealing with somebody new, and like you juggling all those things. And so like while you're there, do the best that you can. And while you're in the twilight zone, just be present with your kid.
Can I
Yeah.
piggyback off of something we kind of spoke on earlier? So it's kind of like sometimes the other, partner that comes in, a new person that comes in, sometimes they can tell that you're still in love, or you're still connect, or you still have feelings. It's not even, I don't care how nice you can be, I don't care how friendly and open you can be. They already sense, because for one, this person have talked about you, over and over and over, and sometimes they know that you're still in love. So that creates a big insecurity within them, whereas though they don't want you, being in the child's life, or they don't want you showing up for the child because of their own insecurities. So it's kind of like, and women know, like, women know when, when they're ex or someone is still trying to, they still connected to them, but then they also still trying to move on. Because like you said, guys don't really take that time to heal. They'll heal with somebody else on their shoulder. They be like, oh, this what's that mean? They be acting like they crying and they with somebody else,
Yes.
with somebody
Yes.
else, all the way to somebody else. And they done moved on and moved in, and next thing you know, they have family, so it's like, whoa, and you still crying over here trying to get me back, and sometimes it creates such a discord in a relationship because of communication, because they know you still connected to your ex, and some people they just stay along for the ride because they don't want to leave, and knowing that you still connected and you still in love with this person. And you're not going to be honest and upfront with them and let them know, like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. You're going to keep on enjoying the perks and the benefits of having this person, while you're going through the motions, and that's it. And sometimes, ladies, we have to take our own accountability, because I take my accountability with my last situation when he was not healed. He was just coming out of a divorce. Like myself now, if I would ever meet someone like that, that's a red, like I'm running the opposite way. That's a red flag. So I will take accountability because he was not ready. He told me I'm not ready, but I was so wrapped up and in love with him. I just saw all the red flags look like green flags. And I just hopped on the ride, but he told me. So it's like we gotta take accountability looking back, like we see the signs already, and we still move forward with pursue the situation, and now we have a child, in the mix, and now we gotta deal with all that.
And that's the beautiful thing about it, is that you come in, the red flags look like green flags. Now you got
They
this.
purple. They don't be green. They be purple.
Baby,
They be purple. They don't be red. They be purple. They already be dog. You don't even see the yellow. The caution. You see. You don't even see the caution. You don't even see the yellow.
You see
And
fireworks.
now you got this beautiful bundle of joy that looks halfway like them, and that you get to figure out with them. And like that's the thing, is like for me, it just like I like had to remember why the flags were the wrong color.
Man.
And just say, okay, well, this was supposed to take place. And like my daughter is like my angel. Like she brought like love back to me.
Yeah.
And so like, because my son there was so much pain going after my son. And so she brought love back to me, and then that helped me more with my son to just continue to pursue it and continue to pursue it. And so it's like, for me, even though the situation wasn't what I needed it to be, and even though it was a surprise situation, I still had the like, and even though it hurts sometimes in co-parenting that I can't enforce everything that I would want in just my household, I still have to look at it from a gratitude perspective, just because that little girl that she gave me, like, really just like brought love back into my world. And so that's like that's like the reality of like, because as a man you can get so hard and like just like hardened. Like, I don't want to do nothing for, like, ain't nobody cares about me unless I'm doing something.
Mhm.
So when you have somebody and then they give you something, so it's like I take, even though I like the relationship was not what I expected, the gift out of it was great. And so like that's the beautiful thing about co-parenting is like, even though like you be going through it sometimes, like the benefits of it is that little thing, the little ones that you get from them are worth it. And so like, that's for me, like just kept me like going after it every day. Like knowing like, all right, at the end of the tunnel, like, all right, I may not have everything right now, but I know what I'm working for. I know what it's gonna look like, and I know what I'm doing for them. And like boom, boom, boom. And I can make sure that everybody benefits from me continuing to show up. And like, it's hard, you go through not hearing Happy Father's Day and stuff like that. And like, y'all get Mother's Day
Mhm.
and,
Yeah.
and,
Mhm.
and Mother's Day, we go ham. But Father's, y'all talked
Make
about
sure, hold on.
y'all
Speaking for Father's Day, make sure
get that
you get
You
your
grab that copy of the
Speaking of
book
Father's
get,
Day,
and
mothers,
give it
get
to the
this for
mothers
the
too.
fathers, yeah, and for
Yeah.
the mothers, yeah, Mother's Day and Father's Day. This will be a great,
Valentine's
yeah,
Day.
definitely
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. This will
Yeah.
be a great gift to
And give
give
it
your,
before you, because a lot of people just be in new relationships for Valentine's Day and they want to
yes,
go ahead and have sex. Let me give you this. Let's share this book
yes, let's check this
first
out.
before you
Yes,
do.
I
Let's
think
read
that's
this first
great.
before. But Preston, you touched on something, and I
Yes.
want to piggyback off of that. How do you co-parent in two separate households effectively? Because that's the thing. Because if they do something over here and I'm enforcing punishment here, and they come to your house and it's a free fall, like, nah, we have to be on one accord. So how does
Page,
that
yeah.
work? How does that work for y'all
for
when you
me,
both?
it's just um understanding and communication, right? I understand where you're at as a parent, and I try to understand your reasonings for something, and I just want you to understand my reasonings for it. So like I'm much stricter on my what you watch, what you listen to, all of those things than a mom's gonna be. Like, she can, it's not gonna hurt her. No.
Mhm.
I don't want you watching that with her around. I don't want this. I don't want her to see those things. But I can communicate that. And at the end of the day, your household is your household. So
Mhm.
so my child should know, hey, you're not supposed to watch that. And I'm gonna communicate it, what you choose. Like, what I realize is that I can control what I can control. And I'm not gonna get mad about the things that I can't control. If I wanted to control that, everybody would be under my roof. But that's not the way that things are. And I have to accept that for what it is. And so with my son, there's certain things, hey, I want you to do your push-ups every day and do this, that, and the third. Well, he's not, I can tell him to, but he's got to make that decision, and she's not going to enforce that. But when something goes wrong and he's not doing something in school, I'm going to get that phone call and I'm going to be asked to enforce. And I can't get in my feelings about not being able to enforce everything else, because that's what my role is. So like that's why I in the book I talk about flow a lot of times. It's because you just have to flow with it. Like sometimes it's going to go your way, sometimes it's not. But if you
Mhm.
communicate something, and I think the biggest way for me to get points is when you communicate something that I implemented. Like we had a situation where it was, what do you call the new parent coming in? And if that parent says, "Hey, this is what I would prefer," okay, and not give them no argument on it or not give them no smoke on it. Because then the next time I have something that I have to say, then I've got a little grace period there, because when you address something, I take heed to it. All I'm asking is that you do the same. And as long as it's not You know, it shouldn't be a big deal if you're bringing it up. I don't bring up a lot of stuff. This is something we need to address. Because you don't want to be, if you're nitpicking, I'm going to say you nitpick.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like, hey, this is something I really feel like we need to address, and this is why.
But you said a key word for me is control, because we don't have control over someone else's household. We only have control over ours.
Mhm.
However, definitely communicating, making sure that we are on the same page, you know, that if they discipline, like even for my kids, if, you know, they get in trouble over here as far as their phone, I would communicate with their dad, hey, they're not supposed to be on their phone, you know, blah, blah, you know, XYZ is going on, but just definitely communication will need to be open across the board. So, you know, kids can't feel like that. And that's what creates a division of, I want to go over dad's house, or I want to go over mine. They want to go whoever house is the coolest with no discipline, you know. So making sure that it's equal all across the board. So that eliminate that, you know.
Yeah. But like I said, I count the minutes before my daughter's gonna say, my daughter's 3. So but before she gonna say, I want to go to mommy house, because I know she like every time she pick up the phone, mommy, can I go to your house? But when she's not with mommy, she want to be with me. So I understand what it is, but like understanding like what you do over there is what you do over there, and I expect some of the same standards, but what you do here is what you do here, and that's the only thing that I can really do is like you're not going to get your way all the time.
Right.
But as much as you can communicate about that standard, and as long as it's not harming, like when my son had a moment at school and we on the phone, all right, you're not watching certain things, because now when I got you in my time and I see you watching Elio on Disney, and Elio can fall out on the floor and do all this stuff, you can't do that. And so communicating to him like this stuff, you may be able to watch it because you can watch it at your mom's house. She's not gonna, it's not got nothing extra in it that's gonna make her say, don't watch this. But me as a father, when I see it, I'm gonna say, no, that's a no-go, because you're watching that and now you think that that's okay behavior, and it's not. And so like just kind of check it, like I think as a father, just trust in your gut a little bit when it comes to those things of what's, as long as you're not crossing, but what's acceptable and what you want your kids to see and the kind of standard that you want for your household. Like I try to make love, like I love yous and stuff like that, really part of the conversation all the time, just so that there's a reminder that there's always love there somewhere. Like it's not I love you specifically, I love you guys, or I, you know, something like that, just so that do you feel that, because it reminds me that I still have to put love there too, because if I don't get that reminder, sometimes I can shut that off and be hard and cold. What my thing is like, how do we as fathers be better at making y'all feel appreciated without crossing the lines, time and money?
That part. I would say, I would say being consistent and standing on your word. Whatever you say you're gonna do, stand on that. I want you to be consistent. Me personally, I don't like inconsistency. I like consistency. I don't like last minute changes either. So don't call me at the last minute when we don't talk a week ago and you say you come and pick her up on Friday, and then now all of a sudden you can't come pick her up. No, because I already don't plan my weekend. So I need you to figure this out one way or another.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
So
consistency is the key.
Tell me.
And when we mess up, what's the best way to, like, let's say we was inconsistent, what's the best way to get back on the good foot without like,
Action.
Yeah, action. And communication too, because things happen You know, things happen and sometimes it's out of your control. But if you just brush it off and ignore, like, man, I ain't sure because should I, you know, but if you're like, hey, I tried to, you know, this happened or something happened or whatever, because things happen, you know, but just
Yeah.
communicating that in a way that, you know, you just, you know, my feelings are valid and my time is valuable too. So
Yeah.
let me know that
What's
you
going
can't value my time so I can plan accordingly. If you know
Yeah.
you got something you can't be there at a certain time, don't, like you said, don't wait to the last minute, because now I'm in a disarray trying to figure out how can I get there, what I have going on, you know, all
Yeah.
this. Hey Jay Chris, hello. What y'all do?
Oh, our live is going to end in 5 minutes.
It's
On
been an
TikTok,
hour.
it's
So
been an hour.
I got some feedback. She said, when you asked your question, she said, not stop and start, be consistent, period, and being a person of your word. And she said, authentic communication and transparency as well.
But see, this is what happens. I want to ask her a question. I want her to answer. Okay, this is what happens: is
What you
that
talking
I
about?
keep my word 88.9% of the time, but that 12%, that's what you remember is the 12% that I done messed up. Would you agree?
I would
So,
agree. Yeah, because you could do good all the time, and then that one time you mess up, and I got a whole attitude. I don't even think about all the times you did everything right. I'm only focused on what you didn't do right. Guilty. That used to be me,
Right.
guilty.
but but like once you understand that reality as a man, then it just becomes easier because you know that. Like I've at this point in time, I've realized that like if I don't keep showing up, if I don't remain consistent in showing up, it's not gonna work. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Jay Chris know what I'm talking about.
Jay
Chris know exactly.
said that thing just got extended. Y'all thought y'all was about to shut it down, baby. No, it's still
But
here.
it's like, it's just like you have to, as a man, and like you have to do it without the thank yous, without
Right.
the acknowledgments.
Mhm.
Like if you're looking for those, you're never gonna get them the way you want them. And so don't sit there and like I used to get in my feelings like you didn't say thank. I just sent you some money. You didn't even say nothing back. And
Mhm.
that's what I'm supposed to do is send you some money. And so like I think, I kind of think about like some of them old school players and like they just knew what it was. And like when I think about family history too, like
That's what we need. Speaking of old school players, baby, where the old school players at?
but they knew what it was. Like, hey, you gotta
That's the
handle your
thing.
business.
See, and that's what this generation is missing. The old school players with
Yeah.
the old school game, because like you said, keyword, they already know what it takes. They know what it is. These
Yeah.
youngsters, baby, go ahead, find somebody else to play with.
Yeah, but like it's also maturing as a man.
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
now I can see things differently and say like, all right, like I can see she's struggling with this stuff. And even though I'm struggling too, she's still struggling and she got the baby as well. So let me see if I can do more or be more to
Lighten
make
her
it
load.
easy.
Yeah, lighten
Old
her
school
load.
players,
That's all.
Jay Chris said you right.
Jay Chris said you right.
But we need somebody to tell them, Jay Chris, we need somebody to tell them what is going on. Yes.
This has
We
been
got to
good,
talk
y'all.
about it.
We have to definitely do this again.
Yes.
Definitely do
Yes.
this again.
Yes.
We might have to do
I'm
this
snowed
week.
in for
Yes.
another day,
I'm
I guess. We got another day, so
I'm open.
but what is one takeaway that you would give someone that's struggling with co-parenting? What is the one thing that you would tell them?
I'll say get a book like this.
Yes.
Be bitter.
That's the first.
Don't be bitter, be better.
And where can they
And
find the book?
they can find it on Amazon, they can find it on Lulu.com, they can find it on each one of our pages. We'll put
Yes.
our information in the chat. But the reason why I would say it is because of the challenge that it gives you. I was looking at it today
Talking
and
about our new book.
I don't
We're talking about our new book. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're talking about a new book. It's
No,
a
post-
mastermind special right here. Mastermind special.
Oh,
We do need a promo. I like that.
But I'm sorry to interrupt, but Valentine's Day is coming up. But this will be a great, like Arista said, this will be a great, just an innocent, easy read. So, you come into a new
Mhm.
relationship, you're trying to navigate and how to co-parent, and what if the other person don't have kids? Like you can get a lot of insight just by
Yes.
reading this book to how to navigate your new relationship. Especially if you want to keep your boo, and
It challenges you.
and challenge you to, because not having no kids too and being in a relationship with because we got to talk about this too. When sometimes the other party don't have children, then they come into your world and you have children and all this drama with your baby daddy and your baby mama, and they like, what is going on? Why
I
we
didn't
all
sign
treat
up
each
for
other
this.
like that?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
so they just enter in a whole situation they have no knowledge of. They have no point of reference. Come on, point of reference. So this book right
Come on,
so
point of
The
this
point of
book
reference,
right
yes.
here is a guide to help you with your new journey, and not only that, to help you maintain a relationship that you're in now, so you can get a better understanding of how to healthy co-parent. Because that's the goal: is to healthy co-parent, to create an environment where it's peace, it's calm, your kids are excelling, because once they are calm in a peaceful, safe environment, they can excel. They can be their best self. So, baby, baby, get the book.
That's
Don't be
it.
better, be better.
Don't be bitter, be better. That's it.
Hey, we
That's
came
it.
Yes,
together.
yes.
We was on the call. I was bitter about something, and Ariska, your selfish coach, got me together. Ronika, the pretty girls, Wax Empire got me together, and that's what we want to do. Is just challenge you. We're all on these journeys.
Yes.
We don't know all the answers, and all the answers ain't in this book, but they're
No.
insights.
There
Yes.
is
They're
no
insights.
guide to parenting, period. There is no guide to co-parenting, but there is this guide, Don't Be Bitter, Be Better, that could help you with some insights to get you from point A to point B to at least have an effective co-parenting relationship. So y'all don't be bitter. It's time to get better
Better.
when it comes to co-parenting these kids because they deserve better. They don't deserve your
Yes.
bitter.
All right. All right. Well, we appreciate you. Go ahead and drop your contact information. Ariska, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Your Selfish Coach. You can find me on Facebook at A Bountiful Solution. You can find me on YouTube at Your Selfish Coach. Nope, Let's Get Selfish. It's on YouTube. It's Let's Get Selfish.
All right, Ronika, where can they find you?
Y'all can find me in Jonesboro, Georgia. At Pretty Girls Wax Parlor. That's where you can find me at. You can book online at prettygirlswaxparlor.com, but you can find me on all social media handles. I am open to do discussions, panels, workshops, and I think that's the goal for us. Just with this project is to really talk more about how can we help navigate the next person, the next generation that's coming up, because it's all about educating the generation, because we were just joking about the old school players, but reality, that's a conversation that needs to be had, because who the kids gonna listen to?
Yeah.
Who the kids gonna listen to?
So
So
you
we
know
need
about
that.
it.
We
You know
need
about
we
it.
need
Yeah.
that. So these guys need to hear some old school wisdom, and they need to hear some old school wisdom from our elders,
Yes.
to really educate, the masses, so we can be our best selves. So baby, get the book.
Hey, you know who it is, Preston R. Harris, the Master Builder. You can find me, Preston R. Harris, on all social media platforms, and go to the website www.prestonrharris.com. You can get the book there. You can find more information there. And this is a mastermind production, so we are part of the Hunters Mastermind, where we hunt together, we win together, and we support saving the world together. So I just appreciate both of y'all for being members of the Hunters Mastermind, for collaborating with this project with me, and for getting me together, because I need it sometimes, and just helping me make sure that I'm my best self so I can be better every day. So I just appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you struggling with this, get the book.
And I will say, not to cut you over, to piggyback off of Preston, because I will say this, man, when I tell you, make sure you around the people that want to not only talk about elevation, but showing up. Because yeah, we talked about this and it was a call, but when you have people around you that just follow through, because he was not playing. Once he came in, he was like, Renika, we gonna get this done today. And we sat here at this same table. I couldn't leave. I'm like, Preston, I'm a cook, I'm a this. But he like, we're not leaving until we finish this project. And we did. And it happened so quick. It took me a while to really grasp what happened. I'm like, we really just published a book. Like, it really happened. So make sure you're around people that elevate you. If you don't know about the mastermind, please join the mastermind. If you're looking for a family that's going to hold you accountable, but not only hold you accountable, help you get to the next level, help you become your best self. As you saw Lariska, her pitch, my pitch, Preston, he's the master pitch. But if you're looking for a business pitch, if you're looking for a business family,
Jay Chris being on the line.
Come on, Jay Chris.
Listen, the mastermind is the place to be. It is family. You will get pushed like none other, because Preston is the pusher. I get text messages all the time. What you working on? What you got going on? Like he is. I call him Pusher P. Call him Pusher P because he will push you to greatness. Like, for real, y'all. But if you are looking for a family, like I wish I was in Atlanta so I could be at the in-person event, so I could get all the love, the hugs, and everything that go on in Atlanta. Like, I'm even recommending people. I was just telling Preston, talked to a lady couple of Saturdays ago, and she told me she had just recently moved. She's been in Atlanta like 2 years, and I'm like, oh, I gotta hook you up with the mastermind family. I need you to connect with Ranika and Kendra. Like, these ladies are gonna help you. Like, so I'm always promoting the mastermind.
We coming to New Orleans. We coming to New Orleans when we do our book signing, and baby, we coming to New Orleans.
We going.
Well, I'm in Dallas. I'm in Dallas.
And Jay Chris pulling up. We getting shirts.
So listen, guys, because so we putting together our book sign. We about to go on a book tour. So stop playing with us. Atlanta, Dallas, baby,
New Orleans,
Florida, Baltimore, baby, Baltimore,
Nebraska,
Chicago,
Pittsburgh,
LA. Stop playing with the game.
On tour. Better be better.
Hey, we getting better all over the world. That's what I'm talking about.
Right. Somebody say come to the DMV area. We got an invitation to go to the DMV.
Baltimore, Virginia, we there. Yes, so we there. Yeah. We coming. Everybody
say thank you for this conversation. This was great. Please come back. So this is a much needed conversation, y'all. So
we'll come back next Monday. Next Monday, same time, same place. We'll come back. We'll come back and we'll talk about it. I just think that, as we go into this new year, we got a choice. And like you said, we got a choice to surround ourselves with people who want to make us better.
Yes.
And I appreciate y'all for not letting me sit in my feelings and being bitter, because I can get there. And I appreciate, and I'm grateful for y'all to say, be better. You can be better, and get some people to hold you accountable. If we need to do a group to hold people accountable where they can tell a couple of stories where we can just keep it real, maybe we'll look at doing that as well. But if you don't have that people to, and maybe we do that Wednesday mornings, because that's when it happens. But if you don't have those people to say, hey, you can be better here, then how are you ever going to know that? And so I just appreciate y'all, and I want to say thank you. And if you're looking for help, these two are wonderful women. They can help you. Ariska is a great coach. She can help you see where you're sabotaging yourself and not finding your success. She can help you get to that next level. She can take your womb and your mindset around your womb and those things and help you heal those things and help you feel better about those things and be more open and into yourself and feeling the divine queen, goddess, superhero that you are. And so for me, I'm grateful because I'm surrounded by champions.
That's it.
And so when we talk mastermind, it's a family of you generals. Like, these two are superheroes. And I'm so grateful that we came together on this project. Don't be bitter, be better. And you can get this and just read it. Tell us how you feel about it. Tell us if we're crazy. Tell us what's going on. But the more we have these conversations, the better our world is going to be, because we're talking about the stuff that's actually going to make us better and make a difference. So this is Preston Harris, Master Builder.
This is Miss Ronika Ward, Pretty Girls Wax Empire.
Ariska Scott with a bountiful solution.
Hey, we're the hunters, not the hunted. Don't be bitter, be better. We'll talk to you later. Peace.